Hello everybody, welcome to Shady Entertainment. Today I'm doing a review. Yesterday I went to go see probably what I'd like to call one of the best monster movies I've ever seen. And I love monster movies. You know, when I say that's the best, it's probably because it's the best. And that one is, of course, Pacific. Wrong. No. I didn't see that one yet. Rampage, which surprised me that I would have enjoyed it this much. But hey, it's good to be surprised in a positive way for a change. Because movies have been doing the opposite lately. This one was a great surprise. And you know what? This is actually probably my second surprise. Jumanji was my first one because I didn't expect hardly anything out of that movie. And I loved that movie. And then I go see this one. I'm starting to think I'm getting a man crush on Dwayne Johnson. I don't know what it is, but everything that guy does, I just see, and it wasn't like this before. You see, I was always kind of neutral on him. I was like, I can take him, I can leave him, but now, I don't know, he's either making great decisions or he's up in his game. Remember when The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, remember when he used to like give jerks their people's elbow? Remember that? When he just like, that was his claim to fame? Giving everyone the people's elbow every 5 minutes? Telling everyone if you smelt what he was cooking? You want to know what I think? He goes, I don't care what you think. It came a long way since those days. I don't know, the people's elbow I thought was the most funniest thing ever. He was going to solve oppression by elbowing one bureaucrat at a time. Just go to the White House and just people's elbow his way to the top. I'm saying this right here, guys. I'm looking right into the camera, I'm making my first prediction. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is going to be the first president of the United States that was a wrestler. I'm telling you this right now. How is he going to do it? He's going to people elbow his way right to the top. Can you imagine The Rock doing the debates? You know, when there's the people running beside him and they're like, what do you think about healthcare? I don't care what you think about healthcare. Everyone's just going to cheer. Ah! That's going to happen, guys. I'm telling you, hey, Dwayne, I'm giving you the idea right now. How little shorts, like little commercials of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, people's elbowing, the press, everybody. This is what I think of the 1%.
We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.
Yeah, so back to the movie, guys. So, yeah, I went to go see the movie yesterday with my wife, and she also was like that too. She was just going to the movie for me because I'm a huge monster movie fan, and I am a Rampage fan too, believe it or not, because I used to play that video game in the arcade, and I had that, I think, on the original Sega. That game was a pretty fun game. And I used to think that, I mean, before this movie came out, I swear, I used to say that this would make an amazing movie, just because it's a silly premise, but at the same time, it's a monster movie. So, like, what's not to like about a giant wolf, a giant crocodile, and a giant monkey fighting in the middle of Chicago? I mean, there's nothing to not like about that, unless the effects were bad, which they were fantastic. Okay, the effects in this movie, they were so good. I mean, they were Jungle Book good. I mean, I can almost say at some points they look better than Jungle Book. The way George, who's the white monkey, that damn overprivileged monkey, well, it's gorilla, technically. In the beginning, I don't know how they did it, because this was some fantastic CGI, if this was CGI. I'm not even sure if this, like, this almost seemed like it could have been animatronic at some points, but I don't know. I'm just taking a guess, because the hair looked so good, the facial expressions. It was almost like Andy Serkis was behind. I don't even know if he was in it, but like the whole thing was so well done. You know, I'm the type of guy, guys, that, you know me, I like every monster movie just because there's a monster in it. So my grading curve for these movies are not fair, because I judge these movies in a different way than I judge any other movie. Because this movie, I'm not looking for story, I'm not looking for story structure. I don't care 90% of the time. You know, I'm just there to see animals fight. That's it. That's it. But see, this is why I love this movie. This is why it's the best one. Before I say that, I want to say this. The reason why I don't want story structure, the reason why I don't want character development 90% of the time in these kind of movies, is because they always have a hard time doing that and taking away from what I came there to see, right? They give you the story structure, and they'll give you, like Godzilla, an example. They try to give you the story structure, they try to give you the character development, they try to give you the motivations, they try to give you a backstory, they do all this setting up and all this stuff, and then they give you 2 seconds of animal fighting. And that's really what I came there to see. And it's hard. I guess I don't know if it's hard or why they have this problem balancing the two, but they seem to have that problem. Kong didn't have that problem, but Kong didn't give you much character development. You know, it was just, it took away from the character development to give you monkey fights. And that's fine, because I was fine with the monkey fight. So, people who say, well, I didn't care for the characters. I didn't care, I'm sorry. I didn't go there to see the characters. I went there to see Kong, and Kong, you know, fighting the squid. And that's what I got, so I was happy with it. But in this one, they really found that balance. I was really surprised. I was just ready for a good, stupid baboon, wolf, flying lizard movie, you know? It was like the video game. I was just expecting that, only on the big screen and with really awesome effects. And I got more than that. I mean, The Rock, he was fantastic, and I mean, I give kudos. He's upped his game. I mean, I was picking on him earlier, although he's got to lay off some of the juice, because the bigger the guy gets, the smaller his head seems to get. And eventually he's going to look like the guy from Beetlejuice. He's going to look completely awkward. I know, now I'm going to be worried that The Rock is going to be knocking on my door. You want to smell what The Rock's been cooking, Shady? No, I'm sorry. Your head's just fine. Yeah, so his comedic timing has really gotten better. One of the things I was never too keen on, like I always liked him. You know, he wouldn't take from the movie, but he didn't add a whole lot. Lately, he's been really getting better. His comedic timing is really good. His delivery of the line, like there was like a line where he just says, well, that sucks. No, it wouldn't be like on the par with any of the I'll be backs, you know, Schwarzenegger lines with, hey, remember when I told you I'd kill you last? I lied. Hasta la vista, baby. You know, it doesn't hold water to those, but just the way he delivered it, though, that made that line stick out for me. His co-star, I don't know, I remember her name, and I don't know if she's done it, what else she's done, but they had a good chemistry on camera, and I really liked her in this. She also delivered some fantastic lines. There was a moment, like, I'm not going to spoil anything in this movie, guys, because, see, these kind of movies, I want you guys to be fresh seeing this. But there is a scene which was, for me, one of the greatest scenes in any movie, action movie at all. Like, this year brought two scenes for me this year in two separate movies that just blew me away. I'm talking about as a spectacle, not acting or dramatics. But there's a scene in this one that it just felt like I was literally at an amusement park ride, and I looked over to my wife, and we were both holding the seat like it's the same time, going, we're gonna die. We're like, oh no! It was that good. In my opinion, right? I'm not going to tell you the scene, just know that there is a part that I was looking at it going, wow, this was fantastically shot. The cinematography in this was really good. I was really impressed by a lot of it. Yeah, for me, this was a near perfect monster movie. I mean, it was funny. It gave you heart. I mean, the relationship between George, which is the white monkey, the white gorilla. Dwayne Johnson plays an ex-military turn poacher hunter, turn, you know, now he works with the gorillas, the zookeeper or zoo trainer or something, I don't know, in the San Diego Zoo, and he works with monkeys, and he befriends this wisecracking white gorilla, which is great. The gorilla had a lot of personality, and that's another thing they did. See, a lot of these movies, and I'm not going to name any Pacific Rim, but a lot of these, they don't give character. And see, what allows movies to jump up to that next level? See, that's the thing. Why a movie goes from being just an average sort of rah fun, kind of like, all right, don't think too much about it, to something really good is the acting, but it's also the characters that. I'm not talking about character development, guys. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about going in the backstory and all that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the personality. Okay, the personality of the characters themselves. When I'm talking about character, I'm talking about, in this instance, I'm talking about the personality. And they gave the monkey a personality. And he was funny. And the relationship between the two was so good, you really did feel sad for the gorilla. And that's what gave you the emotional connection that they had. It was fantastic on that standpoint. Like I said, the special effects were like bravo. They're getting so much better, man. They're getting so good at this. Hair and fur and facial expressions, it was so good. The main giant lizards guy, the big bad, the croc from which was, I think, Izzy. In the video game, his name is Izzy. I don't know if they ever I don't think they named him Izzy. They did name the wolf. I can't remember the wolf's name, but they did say the wolf's name in the video game, because the video game, they all had character names. In the video game, it was just funny because you'd play as one of the giant monsters, and the whole point was to destroy the city. That was your thing, and eat people. Remember, you're this kid, you're playing in the video game, and you're smashing buildings, and you're hearing people outside the building going, help me, movie. This is in the video game. And you climb up the buildings, and the monster. You reach inside, you grab a human being, and you eat it. And you got points for that. That's what the game was about. It was about eating people and getting shot by helicopters and trying not to die. They did change the storyline a little bit because I think in the original game, the people morphed into the giants. Like there was actually humans that almost like became Wolfman and grew that big. Because when you died, you always shrank back into a human and then you run away. And in the movie, they changed the storyline. I don't really care. I was never attached to the story, so they could change it whatever they want. They made it more like the Ninja Turtles with the mutagen. For Ninja Turtle fans, I mean, you know, the whole mutagen thing, they just created some, basically just some random reason. Here's an evil corporation trying to create a super soldier and a disease and whatever, and got lost. Oh, which reminds me, the first scene in this movie was like, it's funny because it's sort of out of place with the rest of this movie. Because the first scene felt like a scene out of Aliens. And the funny part is it sets the tone for like, you're gonna see a really good movie. But then the tone just completely changes after this scene. But not in a bad way. It's just funny because this sets such a weird sort of suspense, action, but space, you know, drama. And then it just completely turns into a monster movie afterwards. It was just really cool how that was done. I had one negative about this movie. That's why I said a near perfect movie for a monster movie. Remember, I'm grading it on a different scale than most movies, on the basis that it's a monster movie. The villains, the two main villains, they seemed very Boris and Natasha, right? They seemed very cartoony as far as characters were concerned. And normally it wouldn't matter, but because this movie upped its game and raised the expectancy level of what you expect out of this movie, it's natural that if this movie is so good in all the other standpoints, giving you like good characters, good story, good acting, just great action, just fantastic action, and then they deliver two very silly. They were bad. The villains were just bad. They were very generically cartoonish, and that was the only thing. The only thing that I had, and I mean, they were like, who cares? I mean, in a way, because they were just there to further the plot. They were menacing a little bit, but they were also very silly and sort of cartoonish. And like I said, normally I wouldn't mind that, but because this movie raised the bar for itself, you know, I came to expect better, and then they kind of lowered the bar just a little bit with the villains. Hey, whatever, it doesn't matter, because this movie was so good in so many other directions and so many other ways that, you know, and even the villains were fun at times. So, and whatever, they were just goofy. But I forgot his name. The actor from now he's on The Walking Dead. He always talks like with his southern accent, and he leans back when he talks. Ha ha ha! He's always so cool. What the hell? He was in The Watchmen. Can't remember his name. Someone in the comments, tell me his name. Forgot his name. He always reminds me of Robert Downey Jr. I don't know why. It's just his face, something about it. Maybe I'm the only one who thinks that, but he always had that lean back sort of way he talked. I say, hey dog. You know, he was really good in this movie. He was actually, again, one of the reasons that this movie was elevated to a different height. You know, he played that government official that you kind of like hated in the beginning, but then you grew to like him as the time went on. And you started to realize that he really did have the people's elbow in mind. No, like people's good interest, right? So I recommend this movie, guys. I actually recommend it to go in the theater. I do think you should see this movie. I recommend you play the video game. It was pretty fun. You won't feel guilty eating people either for some reason. You just reach in a building and just, it was like they were M&M's, just people. There's some people I'd like to give the people's elbow and eat them. Go to Lucasfilm first. Hey, mofo, no! What happened to my building? Anyway, guys, yeah, so go watch this movie. So yeah, there's been a couple of good movies so far this year, and last year I was pretty disappointed overall. This year's off to a very good start. So far, so good. So let's hope it continues, guys. Anyway, guys, so that was my review. Thank you for watching, and you remember, you heard it here first. So down the line, when you see Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson running for president, you do like, you know how they do with The Simpsons? How Simpsons predicted everything? You can do how Shaney Entertaining predicted everything. I predicted Indiana Jones. Now I'm predicting Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as the president of the USA. Anyway, guys, so let me know what you think in the comments. go see this movie. Subscribe, like. Thank you for watching, and